Thank you for tuning in to Eyes and Teeth, the podcast, episode 1, remade from 2020 and scrapped and recreated in 2025. It's basically a summary of the podcast and an introduction to my life for those who are not on Facebook. Episode 1 is all about...
Meet Steve Hewlett on the stage, bringing laughter like a sage. Puppet pals by his side, watch the crowd open wide. He's got jokes that never tire, sets your heart on fire. His dummies steal the show, smiles light up row by row. Come on, laugh with Steve tonight, he's the master of delight. By the end you'll understand, you're a friend in his command.
My name is Steve Hewlett, a comedy ventriloquist from Basingstoke. This podcast's come about during the lockdowns of 2020. My work as a ventriloquist, as with anyone else in this business, came to a halt. So us creatives continued to put content together, and I managed to research, schedule phone calls, record, edit and share over 200 interviews, which included actors, comedians, impressionists, singers, ventriloquists and industry legends. My first ever phone call for this project was with Jimmy Cricket. I went on to talk with brilliant performers including members of the Grumbleweeds, the Barron Knights, the Osmonds, Bobby Davro, Harry Hill, Steve Nallon, Hal Crottenden, Nigel Planer of the Young Ones, Alan Fletcher of Neighbours, Sherry Hewson, Jeffrey Holland, ventriloquist mentors Ron Lucas, Jimmy Tamley, Jay Johnson and Willie Tyler. From the world of the Grand Order of Water Rats, the late and wonderful Harry Biker, Dave Myers, and Derek Martin, Melvin Hayes. The list goes on, including Dilly Keane from the stand-up comedy world, Tom Lucy, Billy Pearce, and TV legends such as Michael Aspel and Jimmy Tarbuck, who chatted to me from his golf club on his 81st birthday, waiting for the rain to ease. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed the process, start to finish, but it's hard to believe I spent an average of 5 hours per episode and still produced over 200. It was important though for my sanity and financial need of feeding my family that I get back on stage, and Butlins and Warner Hotels saved me in that respect, for which I'm truly grateful. In November 1987, I didn't even know ventriloquists existed. My earliest memory of a ventriloquist was seeing Terry Hall and Lenny the Lion when I was around 5 years old. I was watching it at school and it was in black and white on telly. That's my earliest memory of childhood.
Kids, great news. I've just written a pantomime. It's a pop music version of Puss in Boots.
What's it called?
A Cool Cat in Clogs.
Listen, never mind that, Lenny. You were nearly late for the show today. Where have you been?
Out with Joe's groom. We went to the zoo in his new baby car.
Joe's car isn't a baby.
It must be. It's got a rattle. As we were driving along, Joe kept shaking his head from side to side.
Was he ill?
No, he got his nose stuck in the windscreen wiper. When somebody got in the way, that car did suffer. It went, oh!
Why?
Joe gave it a punch up the hooter. Anyway, finally we got to the zoo, and at the entrance was a pay box with a wooden window.
A wooden window?
Yeah, it wouldn't open. So we gave our money to the man at the turnstile. Then suddenly I went dizzy. I was going round and round.
The car journey had upset you.
No, I've got my tail caught in the turnstile.
And then Keith Harris, of course, on Top of the Pops when I was 7 years old in 1982. But I must have thought the lion and the duck were real. That was an illusion I was later to create myself. It wasn't until 1987 in November I was watching a TV talent show called New Faces. When we heard a local man was to be on TV that night, we all sat down in front of the telly excited. We'd never seen a local celebrity before. He was called Jimmy Tamley, and he was a ventriloquist. Little did I know that this very TV talent show was going to make a huge impact on me and change my life forever.
He actually went on to win New Faces series, and I think he's destined for really great things. I'm pleased to say he's here tonight. Welcome, Jimmy Tamley!
Wake up, Grandad. He's been asleep a long time. Wake up, We're here, Where are we? This is summertime special.
Oh, hello, youngsters.
Hey, Grandad, these people want the pleasure of your company.
One at a time, please. Hey, I can't stop and talk to you on nothing like holidays in a few minutes.
How can you afford a holiday?
I sold my house.
Really?
When the council find out, they'll go crazy.
The following day, my best mate David Thomas from school told me that he lived opposite Jimmy. Would I like to meet him? So on the way to school the next day, I knocked on Jimmy's door 2 days after he won the live show. So he must have been exhausted. One night after school, my sister had been round a friend's house and he was clearing out his garage. She said, "Look what I got." And she opened up this bag and it had a little ginger ventriloquist dummy in it. I said, "Can I have it?" She said, "No, it's mine." I said, "Well, why do you want it? You know I'm interested in being a ventriloquist." And she said, "Okay, you can have it." I said, "Look, I'll give you £5, but I'll have to give you £1 a week for 5 weeks." I think I was only on £7 a week for a paper round that I did every morning. Hayley gave in, and then she told me the next day when she was already bored with the dummy, "All right, you can have it for £5, £1 a week." So I bought my first dummy on HP. There he was, a little ginger-headed dummy. I named it after that very ventriloquist, Jimmy. But how else was I going to learn? I sat there in front of the mirror doing the alphabet, but I didn't know where to go next. Or did I? I went back to Jimmy's house. I knocked on his door, 8 a.m. on the way to school, and said, "Will you teach me?" He said, "Look, Steve, go away." That's not the end of the sentence. "Go away and get a book that's about to come out. It's by Ray Allen. It's called Got the Gear, and you could ask your parents for it for Christmas. If you're still interested after Christmas, come back and I'll teach you."
Steve came along knocking on the door and 12 years old, spiky little jelly hair, you know.
Mr. Temple, can I have your autograph, please?
No, that's anything, thank you, Rachel. It was like cheap roadie because he'd be lugging trunks and trolleys and PA systems, you know.
I got the book Christmas morning 1987, and a few days later I was knocking on Jimmy's door, showing him the dummy, the book, and my enthusiasm. Jimmy saw my potential. He let me into his flat. He made me a hot chocolate, and then the lessons began. He started to put on VHS tapes with ventriloquists on. He started to give me lessons. And he asked me to perform sets with my newfound dummy. And this went on for about a year until I became a roadie. Yeah, I roadied for Jimmy for 10 years. Jimmy even helped me plan my first tour for work experience when the Vine School in Basingstoke agreed to me being a ventriloquist for 3 weeks across care homes and schools with 65 half-hour shows in 1990. I was noted in the national press as the most unusual work experience student of that year. I would perform at talent competitions in school or clubs, charity shows, fetes. Wherever they would accept me, I would slot my little act in. The first time I was ever filmed performing was my dad filmed me at home for a little clip so I could send to Saturday Mornings Going Live. They had a TV talent show.
Hi everyone. Hi, now this is Mia. Yeah. Hey, what do you do if your nose goes on strike? I don't know, what do you do if your nose goes on strike? Ticket, Neon, yeah. Speaking of noses, what happened to you? Tell them about it. Oh, yeah. Well, did you see the dick of the door as you walked in? Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. I didn't. And what have you been up to this weekend? Well, Steve, I went to the doctors. The doctors? Yes, because a week ago I swallowed a coin. A coin? Yes. Why didn't you go to the doctors a week ago? Well, I didn't need the money until yesterday.
I got an audition for that show, but it didn't go any further. I wrote off to TV shows and kept the letters of rejection, which at the time broke my heart. In hindsight, they just made me carry on and get stronger when it came to rejection. Now at 49, I apply for things, gigs, and forget about them unless I get a recall. It's just not meant to be if that job isn't yours. The first charity show I ever did was at Park Pruitt, at an event hosted by TV's Alan Titchmarsh. My parents were in the audience, and still tell people what Alan Titchmarsh said after my spot that day. Well, I was sat just a few feet away and I didn't see his lips move. I reminded Alan of this show we did together 28 years later when I was booked on his ITV daytime show, The Alan Titchmarsh Show, in 2014.
My next guest made a name for himself on last year's Britain's Got Talent, making it all the way to the final. Not bad for someone who spends all his spare time with his hands up celebrities' bottoms. Please welcome ventriloquist Steve Hewlett. So, when did you start ventriloquism?
I started when I was 12 years old. A huge fascination for ventriloquists. I saw a TV ventriloquist on New Faces. I got completely hooked, and so it's taken me 27 years to become that overnight success. So last year was great for me because I've always wanted to do a UK tour, and I've got that this year. It gave me exactly what I wanted to do. So.
Wonderful. It's a long time to work. Thank you.
My first TV was when I was 15. Jimmy Tamley had been contacted by Meridian TV in Southampton to propose an idea for a show called I Can Do That, and I was surprised by Jim on the show to perform an act we'd learnt backstage just 30 minutes before, when really we'd taken weeks to put it together at his house in Basingstoke. Here's a clip from I Can Do That.
Grandad, we hope, has got a chance to get acquainted with Tina. Grandad and Tina, how are you getting on there?
We're getting very well. We're getting a quick 10-minute lesson.
Tell me, Jimmy, it is a difficult thing to do, isn't it, to be a ventriloquist? And you've got to practice. What are the most difficult parts of speech to recreate?
The words that you use your lips for, you know, B's and M's, those kind of words.
But you can get the hang of it with time. It's all practice.
Yeah.
Stephen's doing pretty well so far, so we'll leave you to it, because I know you've prepared something for us.
Now, Stephen, I'm going to teach you ventriloquism.
Hey, Tina, I'm going to teach you how to be a crazy dummy.
Okay, now, first of all, take a big, deep breath. And relax your mouth. Come on, Miranda. Now, your tongue has to replace your lower lip and teeth.
I got no tongue.
I got no teeth.
Okay, now avoid the difficult words, as we've said before. Words with the letters M, P, and B. Those are difficult.
Hey, Tina, can you say bottle of beer?
Come on, Grandad, you can't say bottle of beer.
Yes, I can. Guinness.
I know, it's also a good idea to finish on a song.
I want to sing a song, Tina, follow me. There's a tiny house.
There's a tiny house.
By a tiny stream.
By a tiny stream.
Where a lovely lass.
Where a lovely lass.
Had a lovely dream.
Had a lovely dream.
And the dream came true.
And the dream came true.
Quite unexpectedly. Watch this. In Gilly Gilly awesome pepper cats and little dog by the sea.
By the sea. In Gilly Gilly awesome pepper cats and little dog by the sea.
A big thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to Jimmy Tamley and to Stephen. Grandad and Tina. And I tell you what, there's going to be a real star in the making there. I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot more of Tina.
I've always worked since the age 11. I don't remember not working. I had a paper round, and then after a few years of washing cars, then taking on a job at a local store called M&W across the road from my house. I started to invest in my own act, buying puppets and clothes, music and props. I was building an act, and by the time I was 15, I was washing glasses behind the bar at a local social club, and it was only a matter of time when I was asked to do a cabaret for the members. I remember it well, and I got a big laugh ad-libbing and making fun of my boss when he started collecting glasses and the dummy made a joke about that being my job. It broke the ice, and I stormed the next 25 minutes. The next club I did was just down the road from Jimmy's house, called the Dainsmead Club. I was lucky in the late 1980s because I not only had the direct help from Jimmy Tamley, but I also had the pleasure of meeting Keith Harris a few times, as well as American ventriloquist Ron Lucas, who aired 4 seasons of his own TV show on Thames TV called The Ron Lucas Show.
Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Please welcome your host, Ron Lucas.
ventriloquist hosting his own TV show was rare. There had been Keith Harris and Ray Allen and Roger de Courcy. They'd all achieved this over the years, but for an American to come over and host, that was special. And we have producer John Fisher to thank for that. I'm proud to say that Keith, Roger, Jimmy, John Fisher and Ron Lucas have become friends over the years, and I've been blessed with knowing them to this day. At age 16 I was working in a food hall in Basingstoke, serving jacket potatoes and burgers. I suddenly had a phone call to do a TV show called The Pig Attraction for HTV Bristol. They wanted a budding ventriloquist to appear with Keith Harris and Ray Allen. I more recently found out that the wonderful Dave Showler passed my number on to them. Thanks, Dave.
Ice and Teeth.
I then took on talent competitions from age 16 to 22, earning over £10,000, taking first, second or third place. It wasn't until later years I came fourth, but mostly first place. And being a ventriloquist, which was a rarity on the talent show circuit, I always stood a good chance. One night was special in Norfolk in 1996 when I took home a cheque for £2,250, and that was just one of 3 finals I had that week. This is me winning Coco's in Norfolk.
For tonight's winner, ladies and gentlemen, to receive a cheque of £2,250 with a recording time contract for £250, making total prize money of £2,500 and a trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Stevie's friends! Ladies and gentlemen, receiving his trophy tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and a cheque value £2,250. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together once again for tonight's winner, Stevie's friends!
In 1993, I was a blue coat at Barry Island Resort. 1994, a blue coat in Wycliffe Bay Holiday Park, the Isle of Wight. 1995, I worked at Blackpool Tower as a kids entertainer. 1996, I went out to Cyprus. I did 5 months in Cyprus and had my 21st birthday out there. I left Cyprus, started working in a factory and stayed there for 9 months at Urbis Lighting in Basingstoke. That was the job I had until I was 22. My mate Neil Risley accompanied me to gigs, and at the last one in Bournemouth Pavilion I made it to the finals, and the result gave me the confidence to say, okay, I'm now going to turn professional.
Now, first of all is for Best Speciality Act, and that has been donated by the Highcliffe Sports and Social Club. They have many shows throughout the year, and this is being presented by the Entertainment Secretary, Mr. Don Percival. Thank you, Don. And winning a silver plate, there we go, a silver plate there, ladies and gentlemen, and a booking at the club. It does go to act number 10, Steve Hewlett. Congratulations, Steve. Our third award, ladies and gentlemen, is of course our audience vote trophy, the David Lever Memorial Trophy, and it's being presented by Mr. Jackie Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause as he walks out, sparkling as usual. There we go. Now the audience vote actually wins a trophy, £100 and a bottle of champagne. Ladies and gentlemen, now with 252 votes, it does go to act number 10, Steve Hewlett. We're running out of hands. In first place, ladies and gentlemen, and winner for Star Trail 1997, winning the Stan Slowden Memorial Trophy, £300 and a magnum of champagne. It goes for 248 marks. It does in fact go to act number 10, Steve Hewlett. 1997 Star Trail winner, ladies and gentlemen. And thanks to Amanda and Dave, thank you very much. We wish you all the best for the future.
After winning a talent competition in Slough, one of the prizes was to appear on a local cable TV show hosted by Sacha Baron Cohen. This was in 1995, and Sacha turned out to be one of the biggest comedy stars of the world. Ali G, Borat. This is me on the show with Sacha.
And we have here a very special person. It is our talented person. You are?
Steve.
Steve, and you are a ventriloquist, yeah?
Uh-huh, yeah.
How did you get into ventriloquism?
I was taught by a very good ventriloquist, Jimmy Townley.
Yeah.
And he lived down the road from me, and he gave me lots of hints and stuff. And
yeah.
He taught me basically everything I know about
really?
talking to myself and playing with dolls. So, yeah.
Okay, I sort of taught myself that. But, and how long have you been doing it?
8 years now.
8 years?
So far.
And your puppet, what is its name?
It's I've got a few puppets, but the one I'm using today is Pongo.
Pongo the
skunk.
Pongo the skunk.
So it's not me axe that stinks, it's the puppet.
Oh right, okay. When you're thinking up the name for a puppet, how do you do it? Sort of skunk, a skunk smells, Pongo, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Is that the kind of logic?
Good idea, good idea.
And what would you do, like, I don't know, a crab or a ferret, would it be, I don't know?
I wouldn't...
but Nibbly the ferret or...
Yeah, whatever, any name really.
Alright, wicked. And who does Pongo belong to?
Me.
Really? It's nothing to do with Keith Harris, is it?
He introduced Pongo to me and he said he'd give him a try, so I'm trying him out today.
Alright, what do you reckon? How do you rate Keith Harris in the ventriloquist?
How do I rate him? He's always my childhood hero.
Really? Really?
But he's very good.
Orville doesn't really fly quite as well as him.
Yeah.
What do you think of Orville as a creation?
Orville. I ain't that duck. No, I get on well with him. I do like Orville. And Cuddles, they've all been my heroes, you know. It's just loads of events that I always watch.
And do you have to, like, how do you actually create a rapport with your puppet? I mean, do you take it to bed? Do you, like, I don't know.
Do I take it to bed? Well, they're props at the end of the day.
Alright, excellent. Now it's time for Steve with a bit of ventriloquism. Take it away.
Hello there, I'm going to introduce to you one of my friends who's come all the way from the States. It's actually a she, but never mind. Put your hands together for Lamb Chop! This is Lamb Chop. All the mums and dads will remember Lamb Chop. Okay, Lamb Chop? Will you tell everybody where you're from? Why? I don't want to. I won't force you. Okay, here we go. It's a puppet! You've been a great audience. Thank you very much.
Very real.
Oh, you stink as well.
Yeah!
Oh, pardon me.
Alright, thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much, Pongo.
Thank you.
Attractive little note. Sorry, didn't mean to touch that.
In 1997, also saw Jimmy Townley supporting me on another TV show hosted by Jonathan Ross. This time, I didn't get very far.
Okay, well, we had Steve on, a young ventriloquist act there. What do you think of Steve's performance?
Oh, sorry, Steve. I thought spot the dummy, I'm afraid. I thought very difficult to tell which one. He was a bit more wooden than the other two. The dummy, I didn't like the dummies. I thought the dummies were ugly. I thought Butch looked like Nigel Lawson after the diet. And he had a couple of nice little touches, but I didn't like the act.
And that was no thanks to Gary Bushell. After the Big Talent Show, I was contacted by Andy Peters and was called back to LWT for a meeting in Andy's office. He talked about a few ideas he had for me and my little friends, but the reason I was called in that day was to offer me a job just a few weeks away. Andy was producing an audience with the Spice Girls for LWT, and he needed a few performers after the show. I was booked alongside a close-up magician, also recently on the Big Talent Show. His name was Stephen Mulhern. I remember watching the confident young magician wowing the crowds at the event with his close-up. I felt slightly awkward walking around with Miss Spice Girl puppet, being snubbed by a few celebs, one of which was from Birds of a Feather, aka Leslie Joseph. She stopped me and said, "I know you're going to take the piss out of me," and she walked off. Emma Bunton approached me with her mum. My puppet said hello and asked if they were enjoying the party, and Mrs. Bunton just told me she could see my lips move and started walking away. Jerry Halliwell ran over to me with a photographer, excited I had a Jerry puppet. We had a selfie, then she ran off again. Victoria and David Beckham started to walking towards me, but Posh Spice bent down to sort out an uncomfortable shoe and looked slightly cheesed off. David gave me a smile as I was a bloke the same age as him, but I had a different doll on my arm which seemed to amuse him. Sporty Spice said hello. as did Mel B briefly, and it was a whirlwind of a party. My biggest compliment came from Richard Whiteley of Countdown. He was still hosting at the time, and he told me he really enjoyed my spot on the TV show weeks before that, and that Gary Bushell was out of order saying what he did. I appreciated that. Judges on TV talent shows are the stars these days. It's all about them, which is why I chose to have a dummy made out of the creator of the show when I took the plunge. But in my experience, aged 22 in 1997, when I had negative feedback, the public listened to that, and after the show aired, I had an immediate cancellation of a booking in a club the following week. I was devastated. Gary, by the way, has made it up to me, and I believe has enjoyed some of my work since. He always championed comedy and variety, and looking back, his comments were justified. At the time, my mum dealt with Gary, as she has done for the past 25 years. I'm sure Gary was pleased when she joined Facebook. The truth is, I wasn't ready for TV back then. I just turned professional months before, and in hindsight, I should have had a few more years' experience under my belt. After 1997 and turning professional, I spent the next 15 years in holiday centres, working in pantomime for various companies and cruise ships worldwide right through to 2012. By now, Nina and I had a baby girl called Lola, and I just finished pantomime in High Wycombe with Craig River-Horde and Anne Widdecombe. I had such a great time playing Muddles in Snow White. When I got home in January, I took a few weeks off to be home. No cruises, just me being a dad, changing nappies and being with Nina. And during that time in January 2013, the producer of BGT called and offered me a spot at the London Palladium auditions. I had to think about it, as seeing as I had turned them down for 6 years running. It seemed like my conveyor belt of ships, pantomimes and holiday parks was constant. I felt like I needed a change of direction, a challenge. And days after that phone call, I was walking on the stage at the London Palladium, where in 1994 I was an usher for 9 months.
In these aisles. Do you know what? I actually feel like an ice cream now. What flavour would you like? Strawberry. Get him a strawberry ice cream!
Simon Mad liked an ice cream, but Steve's jokes went down like a mist or whippy on a hot summer's day.
Oh, is that Alicia? Yeah, I was talking to her backstage.
Were you?
Yeah.
What did she say?
No.
Yes.
Definitely a yes. It's a yes for me.
4 yeses.
So, Steve Hewlett and Aliki, one of you is in the top 3. One of you, however, is going home.
The act that's in the top 3 is... Steve Hewlett.
For the rest of you, I'm afraid this is the end of the line, but let's hear it one more time for tonight's brilliant Britain's Got Talent semi-finalists.
So we're now left with Steve Hewlett, Jordan O'Keefe and Attraction. Guys, in no particular order, you were voted the top 3 acts by the public. So here we go. The winner of the last semi-final and going straight into the final is... Attraction! Hello there, Awfulaga. Okay, here we go then with the judges' choice. Good luck to both acts. Judges, as always, you have 1 vote each, and in the event of a tie, the act that received the most votes from the public will go through. David, we'll start with you. Who would you like to see in next Saturday's final?
Can I just say I think it's the toughest competition I think has been tonight, and I think both of these acts deserve to be in the final next week. But as you know, I used to be a comedian, and I like to champion comedy, and I'm going to choose Steve.
Thanks, David.
One vote for Steve. Alicia, which act would you like to see in the final this time next week?
Again, I love both acts. I think both of you are equally deserving of being in the final. But the act that I would personally love to see in the final is Jordan.
1 vote each.
Amanda, who would you like to see? It's so tough, this. Who do you want to see next Saturday's final?
I think it's been the best show for talent tonight. It's extraordinary. I mean, so many acts tonight should have been in the final. But I am going to go with my heart, and that's with Steve.
Okay. 2 votes to 1 in favour of Steve. So, Simon, it's down to you. If you go for Steve, he's in the final. If you go for Jordan, we're going to the public vote. Simon, would you give us the name of the act you want to put into the final?
I actually thought you did well tonight, Steve. I do. And Jordan, I thought you were terrific tonight. Okay, well, since it's my choice, the act I would like to see in the final next week is Jordan.
So, 2 votes each, which means we have a split decision, which again means we go to the result of the public vote. Good luck to the pair of you. I can now reveal that the act with most votes and going through to the final next Saturday is Jordan O'Keefe!
Congratulations. But we've got to say a massive commiserations to you. Steve, we've fallen in love with you tonight. We really have. Have you enjoyed yourself?
It's been the best experience of my life. It's been hard work, but yeah. I love Great Britain. Thank you for having me.
They love you too. Listen, one more time. Get up. Steve Hewlett, everybody.
When I caught up with Steve after his audition, he delivered some shocking news about the state of ventriloquism in the UK.
There's about 10 ventriloquists left in the UK.
Oh, really?
What good ones? There's about 6 ventriloquists left in the UK. So.
And I'm talking to one of them right now. Now, this is the chest of infinite questions. Wow. Right. Aside from being a talented ventriloquist, what else are you good at?
I love writing comedy, and I write jokes every day. I love writing.
Well, the thing is, we are looking for a writer.
Oh,
for this show, especially for the live shows. It's a bit of a struggle. What was your favourite aisle in the supermarket?
It's the cheese section.
Yeah, it's nice.
I suppose it's his jokes. Shut up.
Who wrote this question? Seriously, I've actually just said that. We've only got one more question and we just wasted one. Here we go, Steve. If you left your house and flew in a northeasterly direction for 7 miles, where would you be?
Haywards Heath.
See, the reality is, I don't know if I can prove that. So again, slightly other wasted question. Steve, judging by these, you know that we need help. So we've thrown it out to the public, and here's what they would like to know. Cat or dog? Dog or cat? They are not doing much better than us.
Dog. For me, dog. Cat.
So definitely
cat. Dog. Dog. Cat.
So you're going with
cat.
You're going with
dog.
So we sorted it out.
Okay.
Steve, thank you so much. Good luck. And we will see you in the semi-finals. Steve Hewlett.
And listen, you know the lineup for tonight? I want names. Name names. Who are you looking forward to?
Oh, CEO dancers.
Marty, yeah.
Arthur Lager. And of course, Attraction.
Now, our next act is a ventriloquist, and he says if he makes it to the final, he's going to celebrate with a big bottle of bubbly.
Well, he actually said a gig bottle of googly. Maybe you get the idea. It's Steve Hewlett.
I've been a ventriloquist since I was 12 years old. Scream romantic words the ladies love to hear. Are they real?
I thought the act was fantastic, so yes for me.
This is a whole new stage, this now. It's the biggest showcase in the whole of the country. I can't wait to see Amanda again. I love performing with Arthur Lager. He's just got that little something special about him. He's a dirty old man, basically.
How do you put up with it?
I have to, really. You know, he helps me pay the bills. To do all right, yeah. We've got a little baby Lola now, and I make people laugh for a living to provide for my family. So it's been very, very hard work. It's just been really nice to prove, you know, to everybody that I haven't just been playing with dolls and talking to myself for 25 years for nothing. I want to make something of this. Yeah, strange, isn't it? If I can get a bit closer to the raw variety performance, and my dream has come true.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening. Cheers.
No! Don't drink me!
Absolutely loved it.
You know, Steve, I'm going to be honest with you. I did go into this not particularly looking forward to the act because I'm not really a fan of ventriloquists. But I take back those thoughts actually because I think that is very distracting, by the way. It was funny, and even though I can't say anything, you did much better than I thought. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you like it?
It's very rare, actually, when the dummy is actually taller than the real person. You know what? And I'm telling you the absolute truth, Steve, is me and Simon actually had a bet about you because I thought you were that good you're going to be in the final. I think after tonight, Simon's going to have to give me that pound.
No way.
I absolutely love you and Arthur Lager. I think you're a great partnership. Lovely surprise to see Simon make an appearance.
This is me, by the way.
Well, it is you.
It's like a big version of you.
I think, you know, you're naturally funny. The material was great. I loved you when I first met you in the audition. I think you did even better tonight. So well done.
I think, Steve, what I enjoy about your act is that you've really honed your craft. You've worked on it for years and years and years, and this is a huge break for you. It's a difficult genre. You're in a show full of dancers and singers and people with music and fireworks and everything else. But I think what you've achieved on your own with Simon and Arthur Lager was amazing. So well done.
Steve, you were saying earlier, you've been doing this since you were 12 years old.
Yes.
The role of writing performance for you would be the ultimate, wasn't it?
Biggest dream, 26 years I've been watching it, and I wanted to be on the show, so it's a step closer. I just thank everyone for their support, and Arthur's army as well. Thank you very much for their support. I appreciate it.
You've done yourself a lot of favours tonight, Steve. You really did. If Steve is your choice, then we're going to call for
I love Steve. He is variety, and I will be arguing for him for the World Cup later.
On ITV2, Stephen Mulhern would have a couple of guests on to talk about that night's show on Britain's Got Talent. And this is Fizz from Coronation Street and Joe Lycett talking about Steve Hewlett.
I think he needs to be the wild card. That's my opinion.
Well, okay, but so what I was going to say to you is, if you were a judge tonight, would you have gone with Steve then? You wouldn't have gone with Jordan?
No, I would move Jordan too. I think probably Jordan has got loads more time on his hands. He could win lots more competitions. I would like Steve to have gone for our win.
Well, there we are. Sadly, he didn't. What do you think he needs to do to win the judges over and get their wild card? Because they are going to be discussing it tonight. That's what they've told us. So, you know, what would you want to see new from Steve Hewlett?
Oh, right. I wondered whether you wanted to know what he's going to do right now.
I would imagine now he's having a bit of a drink.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I don't know, I think he's great. I think he can't really do a lot more than what he's doing. He's a wonderful, very funny man. But this is a hard competition for comedians and people doing funny stuff, because you are up against lights, noise, that kind of thing.
That's the other thing about tonight is there was so much talent. I mean, all the other shows have been great, but tonight, I think, particularly because we were on the panel, it was very good. It was very good. They'll have a real variety show.
Simon, there's only one place to start with you.
Steve, I've got to be honest with you. I wasn't sure about this decision, but I've changed my mind. You absolutely thoroughly
thoroughly well deserved. I'd like just to get someone to give me a hand with the judging here. Excuse me, come here. I think I'll... I mean, what did you think?
Are making a go of it, okay? And that's all we can do. No, it's fantastic. The thing I love about you, Steve, it's like the scripts are so witty, right? I mean,
why are you sitting on my lap?
Is it because I enjoy it? The thing is, you know, your ventriloquism is incredible, but also you're so witty with it. That was such
David,
a
you're
funny,
killing
funny
me.
I'm enjoying it. Stop it.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Tell his name now. You've got to...
So happy for you. That was hysterical. Don't know what's happened to the show. I can 100% see you at the Royal Variety Show. I think you are Britain's Got Talent through and through. Fantastic.
I just want you to know what a massively popular decision it was. Absolutely everybody on this show wanted you as the wild card. You did yourself proud tonight. I couldn't be more delighted for you. To have your hand up Simon's backside.
I know.
let's leave it there. Steve, our wild card, you've come back and you've grabbed the opportunity with both hands, haven't
I just wanted to prove myself. You know, I'm a big fan of Joseph and James Moore as well. And there were other acts I thought may beat me to it, but I'm very proud people were supporting me, and especially the judges in the UK. Thank you.
You didn't let yourself down tonight. Well done, pal. And if you think Steve Hewlett is fit for royalty, then the number to call from a landline is 09020 44 24 04, or from a mobile 0644 24 04. But lines don't open until we've seen the last act. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Steve Hewlett.
Quick wit and charm he brings, fantasy on wooden strings. He'll make your worries fade, joy in every escapade. Punchline smooth and clever, makes you giggle forever. Eyes meet his and you know Steve's the star of the show. Come on, laugh with Steve tonight, he's the master of delight. By the end you'll understand, you're a friend in his command.
Something that could be old-fashioned. It does feel like something from years ago, but when you have someone as brilliant as Steve Hewlett, yes, who's got a whole new approach to it, it can really, really work.
And that's why 7th on Davy's list is our puppet master Steve and his little friend Arthur.
Hello. My name is Steve Hewlett. I've been a ventriloquist since I was 12 years old.
All right, well, best of luck. Hope you do well.
This is Arthur Lager. What are those 3 romantic words the ladies love to hear? Are they real?
It just reminds me of Simon and Louis Walsh, the relationship. It's a brilliant way of doing comedy, and it's like a brilliant trick, isn't it? Because although you know he's, providing the voice, you do completely look at the puppet.
Yes, we all watched the puppet as he sailed through to the next round. But the puppet only had eyes for one person.
I can't wait to see Amanda again.
There's Steve Hewlett!
Amanda, kiss a kiss. Amanda doesn't want to kiss you, you're made out of foam. Yeah, memory foam. What do you mean memory foam? I'm going to give you a night you're never going to forget. Why did you ask Alicia out? All right, you get out. No. When you're on the stage, the audience will do almost anything you tell them. Amanda, get your kit off.
Well, that was quite enough of dirty old man Arthur. So Steve retired him for a younger model.
Simon! Yes? What did you think of my performance, Steve? I did not like it. I absolutely loved it.
Very rare, actually, when the dummy is actually taller than the real person.
Despite 2 amazing performances and publicly embarrassing Simon Cowell, Steve didn't make it through to the finals.
Congratulations, Steve Hewlett.
But he was given a lifeline.
He's a very witty guy, and he's a very clever writer. He wrote great material, and I really fought for him to be the wild card, which gave him a place in the final.
Yes, thanks to the judges' wildcard, Steve went through to the finals with a welcome return of Psychic Simon.
Steve was just one of the real magic acts of that final, because he had the Simon puppet, which was hilarious. It's Simon in Barbados, sunburnt.
And Puppet Simon had a familiar psychic all of his own.
Simon, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
He had a Sunita pup as well, and Sunita just happened to be there. Doesn't like to be more than, say, 2 or 3 metres away from Simon at any given moment.
Hello, Sunita. Oh, Simon. And it's a big practice.
Once my act had been shown on TV, doors started to open. I was a guest on This Morning with Phil and Holly.
Right, he got 4 yeses from the judges after his ventriloquist act. I completely struggled to say that, so I did well then. I had the London Lady. I know, but I was so pleased that I said it. It just came out.
Say it again.
Ventriloquist.
Well done.
Thank you.
Now she's going to muck up Palladium.
No, I'm not. He had the whole of the London Palladium on its feet and the 4 judges did stitches.
This is Arthur Lager. What the squeeze amounts of words the ladies love to hear. Are they real?
It just reminds me of Simon and Louis Walsh, the relationship.
And welcome Steve, and also Arthur Lager.
Hello, oh wow, this morning, I like it here, yeah. Richard and Judy.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yes, I'll see you on the juice.
Yes.
Yeah, with that juice and orange. No, it's keep lemon. Yeah, I knew it was something citrusy. Yeah.
Do you know what? I know you look at the puppet.
Yeah.
But this is the only ventriloquist that I've seen where literally you can look at his lips.
Yeah.
And they don't move a thing. Can you just say something? Just say anything.
Sing a song. Now, Chickeny China, the Chinese chicken, take it away, now go, take it away. Watch me, I'm doing the work.
Yeah, it's very good. When did you start?
I started when I was 12, so I saw a ventriloquist on television, a great one. He won a TV talent show, and I just took it on from there. I just started practicing.
The difficulty with something like this is it can, I assume, look quite dated because it's a very, very clever but an old form of entertainment. So how do you, going forward in the competition, you've got to make it current?
You have to be innovative. As a ventriloquist, you have to bring it up to date. You have to make the children and the mums and dads, nans and granddads love you and bring it to life with something brand new. So.
Now also, Arthur looks very nice and very friendly there, but who's this you brought with you down here? Because...
I don't like those dolls. Can't stand these dolls. This is a little friend of mine.
Also, do you know something? He's been teaching me something.
Is this you?
This is me.
Is this your one?
Yeah. No, this not mine. He's giving it to me.
Jason Donovan.
Look. What's yours?
Oh no, I don't like it.
I knew you wouldn't.
I don't like
but
it.
Look, are you ready? Holly, she'll love this bit. Watch. Yes, you are. And also, Holly, this is just for you. Look. What's he going to do now? But you know what we mustn't forget is that Terry Fator, who obviously won America's Got Talent, I think because we haven't seen ventriloquists, like Keith Harris, he was a big star. Terry Fator won the biggest talent competition in America. See, I think he's got a chance because it's different.
Yeah, it is.
It's so old.
And proper variety, actually.
Yes, introducing it to a younger generation of children as well. And I do it all in the parks, theatres, cruise ships, and the audiences, Americans, Australians, the audiences out there love ventriloquists these days.
Something that no one's seen. And could you do it for the first time on this show?
Ready? Yeah. Yeah, just hum what I just did. Now, yeah. Now we're going to do it together. Really? Yeah. Watch in take. Here we go. Hey!
That is brilliant. Good luck with the competition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. And that one is going to get up and run.
Put your friend in a box. Right, competition time now.
To think like one of the top British television presenters has now been cancelled since this interview. It's just like these TV dramas, you know, where they depict TV presenters being cancelled. It's like true life becoming drama, or drama becoming true life. I don't know who's copying who, but anyway, after some television interviews, I really enjoyed doing a lot of radio interviews. I was contacted by BBC Surrey, and Tony Blackburn wanted me on the show. I came on, did the interview, and he asked me to stay for the whole hour. It was such a great time hanging out with him. I became a lot more comfortable doing radio interviews, as you can hear here in Fubar Radio with Lizzie Cundy and her special co-presenter.
Sorry, we're having a bit of a gossip there about
We were.
Hey. Well, we've got our next guest in the studio. It's
I'm
thick
sorry.
and fast
It's
this
so
evening.
fast. It hasn't stopped.
In fact, we've got
He's my
two guests.
favourite.
We've got two guests in right now.
Yeah, don't forget the guy next to me. I can't work without him.
I can't believe it.
So
I
we've
can't
got
even
Steve.
watch.
We've got Steve Hewlett.
Hello, Steve. And
Hello.
obviously I've been waiting to meet Lizzie for quite a few years.
Is
I've
Lizzie-
made it, here we are.
It's Lizzie hard to say.
Lizzie, it's not, is it? It's not Barbara, is it? It's not Barbara, no. Hello, Steve, that's easy.
Yeah,
He's
got
like-
it.
Not bad.
Now, darling, you've done so well.
Thank you. Well, getting here, the traffic was terrible. Yeah, we got here in time.
We've had that problem a few times, haven't we? We've had to start the show without one
Bit of
another
a
a couple
close
of times.
shave, as it were.
I've had a great day. I've been in London all afternoon doing a couple of interviews. So this is, nice strolling across London and jumped on a bus. It's been very, very car. Yeah,
With a bag full of puppets.
Well, I was stuck in the bag, yeah. Wow. It wouldn't happen if he came first. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I actually
That's
think
true.
you should have come first. Can I tell you?
You can tell me. My mum keeps telling me. Yeah, even 3 years on.
Yeah, so it was in 2013.
It was, yeah. It was a great final. It really was.
I mean, can you remind it, because that final was really close, wasn't it?
It was great. Yeah, you were at the final, weren't you?
Yeah,
at the final?
I was there.
It was,
Were you?
yeah, it was so close actually. That wonderful Jack Carroll came second. Attraction, the Shadow Act. Well, they disappeared into the shadows. They came
go?
first. Yeah. They went back to Hungary, didn't they?
Didn't they do an advert?
They don't have an insurance, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We got insurance now in case he drops me. So, and brilliant Richard and Adam, and so I was quite close to those guys, but we all became friends. It was great to get to the final as a wild card.
Well, you did so well, because I think, what do you think, Grip? Was it your Sunita with the leaves or the Simon Cowell? Because you had them all.
Sunita without the leaves would have won it. So I don't know. No, I think it was the Simon Cowell the second time when he was in the Barbados get up. You know, I think that really and the sunburn and
Sunburnt
the week
chest.
before, we had the Simon Cowell, but there was no hairs on his chest, and I think Amanda commented a week later he grew hairs, and so if you look at the YouTube clip over a week, and so when we was on the final on the Saturday, he actually had the hairs, and I think it just went that little bit extra for comedy value.
Right.
It really worked, and it's still great to look back at it. You know, it's a long time ago now.
But Simon's still going on strong,
He makes
is he?
when people ask for it, he makes an appearance because he wasn't in the show initially. I wrote the piece especially for Britain's Got Talent. It was topical. I love being topical, and so I can't get a word in here. You know? But it was always boils down to Arthur Lager. They always wanted him back from the. I used him in the audition at the Palladium, and then they asked him back for the semi-finals and the final. So I kept writing Arthur Lager in naturally.
Well, he's a bit cheeky, isn't he?
Very cheeky, yeah. Not as cheeky as Lizzie on a Saturday.
Today, I have to apologise for this outfit.
No, don't.
Because
Let me thank you for it. Stop
I'm
that.
hanging out here.
I like to hang out with you.
So's Arthur.
Yeah. So, how did you get started in this? When did you know you could do this?
I saw Ventriloquist on TV when I was 12, and I idolised him. He lived down the road from me. I met him. He taught me lessons. Then I roadied for him for 10 years. Age 22, I turned professional, and I haven't looked back. Well, you should do. You see where your hand is. Yeah, so 19 years now. That's how long I've been doing this.
It's so funny. For our listeners, this is so hard because they're both. I don't know who to look at, and they're both.
You need to check
laugh.
the Fubar Facebook later. I think this is probably going to be.
This is going to be the biggest hit.
Yeah, I really had good fun in the last 19 years as a professional. A month ago, I was at the Royal Albert Hall supporting Kenny G. I've had opportunities and doors that have opened. Usually they close. Especially in your house. You're going to open your door for me, Lizzie?
Of course I will. But he's got to come with you, I think.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that right?
Oh, yeah, otherwise I'm going to lie then. Just leave it there. I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So who, when you were growing up, was your inspiration? Because there were a few around, wasn't there? Quite
America
popular.
had a great ventriloquist called Ron Lucas, who was billed in the early 90s as the best ventriloquist in the world, and I thankfully toured with him in the UK this year. Ron Lucas, he was brilliant, and Keith Harris inspired me a lot. Keith was a very dear friend, and we lost Keith last year. And he looked after me for many, many years, professionally and, emotionally as well. He phoned me up just for chats. Keith was great. And Jimmy Townley, they're all my mates as well, they were. And so, but for me hero like Ron Lucas to come over from the States, he come over from LA to do a couple of gigs with us earlier this year. We've done a show called Double Talk, and that was fantastic. And all leading up to a fantastic brand new tour that we're doing pretty soon, actually.
I heard about
can't
this.
wait
If
for
you want
this.
to tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called Talents of Britain. And so we're touring with a lot of our friends as well, like Paul Berlin and from Britain's Got Talent. There's people from The Voice and X Factor. But
oh, brilliant! So you're all doing the show together.
Yeah. It's a huge variety show. It's going around the country. I'm doing about 10 of the dates. I'm on with Francine Lewis.
Oh, yes. We had Francine
John
on.
Clegg.
Yeah.
You've had Francine, yeah. She got a lot of voices, isn't she? A lot of voices,
She did me last week, can you believe it?
She did you? Yeah. Can I do you next week? Is this live? It was.
It was. We'll have to...
Yeah. I like to go on that Love Island, that Love Island. Yeah.
I can see it.
Did you like Zara?
I love Zara. I think it's out of order. Out of order what happened to her,
I know.
That happened to me once because I had the Grandad Noddly Knee competition in Barry Island in 1993. They took that away from me because my knees aren't real. They're not knees.
That's a fair point, though. You're cheating the competition.
Well,
if
you were
that's
cheating.
Yeah. I know. I like to do X on the beach too. Yeah, because Jen's coming out.
We've got Gemma outside.
I'm going to get a tattoo. Yeah, with her on it.
Yeah, you'd like a tattoo with Gemma? I bet you would.
Yeah, you call it X in Tesco's. You can do that. Just me and the ladies go around the aisles.
So is there quite a lot of competition with all the ventriloquists, or is it a friendly community?
It is a friendly community. There's not many. Nina Conti's doing fantastic. She's doing Edinburgh right now, and she's doing America later this year. Paul Zerdin won America's Got Talent.
Was that last year?
Yeah, he's in America for 3 years. He's doing the Palladium Panto. Ventriloquism is really cool. It's really come back again. It is a resurgence. I'm touring with the Osmonds later this year as well.
Where are they going to be, the Osmonds?
Yeah, Jimmy's asked me to come over to America and do some work with him as well. So it's
is it very
amazing.
popular in the States?
Ventriloquism is massive. They had Terry Fatal in America's Got Talent. They've got Jeff Dunham, who's the world's most famous ventriloquist with Ahmed, the terrorist dummy. Yeah, so it's going really well. So the great thing about Talents of Britain, you will see a ventriloquist to take your families out that have seen these variety shows, at these talent shows. They won't see magician, ventriloquist, and impressionist in one show unless they come see Talents of Britain because it's going all over the country.
When can we go? We want to
we need
go,
to find out
don't
some
we?
dates close to
When's
us.
your opening night? Are you?
Opening night is at Milford Theatre. Milford. Yeah, Edmonton. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Millfield, yeah, Milford. So we're looking forward to that date. It's the 2nd of September. So
soon.
Yeah, not too far away.
So is your act already? He's
got no idea what I'm going to do. No, but Arthur Lager, the beauty of him is that we can ad-lib, especially if things go wrong. We love that. So that's why we love doing radio. Yeah, who'd have thought it, eh? Ventriloquist on the radio, Steve.
I mean, it's a good point.
What an ideal wastage. When's the juggler on?
It's true.
It's a good point, actually. We didn't think that one through, did we?
It weirdly works.
Yeah, thank God there's a counter.
But Steve, can I ask you, what made you want to go on Britain's Got Talent? I mean, what was the process like for you? Was it nerve-wracking?
It was nerve-wracking initially doing the Palladium. I love the Palladium. It's like going home to do that because I worked there as an usher 15 years before that.
Really?
Yeah. So, and the people in the audience when I was serving with programs and ice creams, Oliver was on for 9 months, and I was an usher, and I used to entertain them in the interval. And they said, "You should be up on that stage." And so,
you were like, "Yeah,
18 years later, I
you
was
making
like
the
that.
ice cream talk. You were like,
don't eat me. And so it was a dream to be at the Palladium, so I wasn't nervous with that aspect, with the full theatre, but seeing the judges down there, they could make or break your career. And so I got a standing ovation. I'd done 6 minutes on my audition. It went really well. I loved it.
I mean, the Simon one, it did absolutely crack me up seeing that.
That was something I kept up my sleeve. I didn't tell them until the live show went out.
Really? I would have thought they would have insisted on knowing everything that was going on.
They did, and
well, I didn't know there were two dogs. The other one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, the dog with 3 legs. Yeah. Oh. Yes. So it was an element of surprise, which on BGT they love anyway. They like it if you surprise. So I'd done a few ad libs during my rehearsals in the week, and the producers said, if you've got anything else, stick it in, because we love what you do. I was just making them laugh in the studio, really. And I didn't tell them until the day of the live finals. I had Simon Cowell in the bag. So my final rehearsal, like 3-4 hours before we went live, I pulled out Simon Cowell at the end of my act. Ant and Dec doubled over. The producers ran down and said, can you do this tonight? And so I think that's what saved me and got me to the final. You got to think ahead if you're going to be on those shows.
Exactly. So you've got to do something with a little twist. And to get into the final, you must have been thrilled. About all your family.
Definitely. Yeah, because I was in McDonald's an hour after the semi-finals finished, treating all my family.
I know,
that one on the roundabout.
I was there. I was there with Fleury's the other way, going back to McDonald's.
We got McDonald's on the way out. That was our compensation, really, for doing it. And I had to pay. I got McFlurry's in a hurry to get out of London.
Is this in Wembley? The one in Wembley?
Yeah,
I do know the one you're talking about.
I love the studios.
Go to McDonald's.
I've been to that McDonald's before, yeah.
And so, obviously, a couple of days later, and this is a little bit of an Adele story, actually. The day after the semi-finals, I was in the garage. I thought, I'm going to buy a bottle of Prosecco. Although I didn't get to the finals, I'm going to celebrate. I had a great spot last night. The YouTube hits were going up. And I went to the till, this Prosecco, and my debit card declined. There was a queue full of people who knew my face from the night before. So I was, completely red. And I said, I'll be right back. I ran back home and got another card. I don't know what happened, but there was nothing in your account. That's what happened. Yeah, it came fourth.
You came fourth.
Yeah,
well, it'll be different if you won.
Yeah, well, within that hour, within that hour, actually, I had a phone call to say I may be the wild card. Can you be ready to talk to us on Wednesday? And then David Walliams phoned up my house and give us the job. So a week later, I was back in that McDonald's celebrating. I came fourth. Yeah, so that was lovely. Attraction, the shadow
puppets,
the
Hungarian ones. Yeah,
they came.
They did an advert,
didn't
they?
I'm
they were brilliant. They were emotional. People, the nation just loves emotions. You know, they don't like laughter, right? We'd have got more laughter on the Royal Variety.
Exactly.
You did ask why I've done Britain's Got Talent. The Royal Variety show since the age of 12 has been my dream. So they stole it from under his feet. There you go. 12-year-old cry. There's still a 12-year-old inside me just crying.
Because you
bring him out as a character.
Yeah, you are. But you're very funny. I mean, you've got that.
Talking to you. Oh.
You are extremely human. I mean, have you got comedians that you looked up to that you used to love and think, actually, I'm going to nick that's a good gag to use?
I never nick gags. I borrow gags and change them around or something, but I'm all for being fresh and original, innovative and stuff, so I try and be that. So I love Lee Evans, big fan of Lee Evans, and it's a shame that he's retired from comedy, but he's huge inspiration. Billy Connolly, Ross Noble is one of my huge favourites as well. I love the innovative comedians, they just do really, really fresh stuff. I love that, and I try and inject a bit of that. But Ricky Gervais as well. I was at the premiere last week in London.
You went to the premiere.
It was amazing. Yeah, he's so funny. I love Gervais.
I can't tell you how much fun I had on that show. I mean, just to ad lib with Arthur, and you joke about having the ventriloquist on the radio, but I mean, if what he's saying is funny, it doesn't matter. It's radio, isn't it? Radio comedy worked back then with characters, impressionists and ventriloquists. And so I was just trying to prove that. They really went along with it, and it was a really nice interview. My big dream, really, I had a bit of a wish board when I did Britain's Got Talent. I crossed things off as it happened. I wanted to work in America, and there was TV shows I wanted to do, like Alan Titchmarsh This Morning. I was ticking them off as they were happening. I wanted to win it and buy my family a home, but that didn't happen. But there was radio shows I really wanted to go on. So when Tony Blackburn came out of the blue, that was great. I really wanted to try and get on the Steve Wright radio show, the Afternoon Big Show, but it just never happened. 4th place was not good enough. But the next best thing was when Chris Evans invited me onto Radio 2.
All right, 19 minutes to 9. Today's Not So Mystery Guest, please.
And you've been wearing the jacket ever since after our tribute yesterday.
Only because I haven't been home, all right? Just because you haven't got one?
No, I don't.
And you're still gutted that you didn't run it?
I am a bit.
Darling.
After our tribute yesterday to the late, great Keith Harris and his cuddly green puppet Orville, it got us thinking about the amazing art of ventriloquism and specifically whether anyone can do it. Your mystery guest today can tell us all about mastering the vocation of varying your vocal cords. He is a comedy ventriloquist who, by the way, is appearing at Carfest. Please welcome Steve Hewlett.
Good morning, Stefano.
Good morning, Chris.
So, Steve, you were on Britain's Got Talent. You came fourth, didn't you, in 2013? Is that right?
Yes, it was 2 years ago now.
All right, well, congratulations on that. And you said that afterwards you received lots of letters from children asking you questions about what you do, and that's sort of how you started, isn't it?
Yes, I started in 1987 by watching a TV ventriloquist called Jimmy Tamley, and I was fascinated by the art, and Keith Harris was one of those people that inspired me back then. And, you know, we lost a master yesterday, but it inspired a new generation. And since I've been on Britain's Got Talent, I've had loads and loads of emails, and kids sat in the front row of my tours just with puppets on their laps.
Really?
Wanting to learn. Yes, the art is kind of been revived in the last few years.
So who did you ask? You know, who did you write to? What did you do?
I wrote to every ventriloquist that was around, but there was an introducer called Jimmy Tamley who I knew faces, and I knocked on his door. He lived around the corner from me, and I said, would you teach me? So he gave me lessons, and then I just took it from there. I've done talent competitions at school, and then I basically, you know, was his apprentice for 10 years, and Keith Harris helped me out at a very early age. I've known him for 26 years, but they all really helped me when I started out, so I'm kind of doing the same for another younger generation, and I think it's good to pass it on, because it's been known as a dying art for many years. So I love doing what I do. It's a great job.
You're quite right, but I remember as a kid, not only do you love a ventriloquist act, regardless of the material, you just think it's fascinating and genuinely funny, but the thing is, you're absolutely right, then all the kids want to have a go, don't they? That's what they want to do.
It's definitely, these days, it's something you've never really seen before, and if you're innovative and fresh, which is what I'm trying to be, and you know, bringing a whole new way of watching a ventriloquist, and it's got to be funny. You've got to have great technique, so if they're not watching their lips, they're watching the character.
Yeah.
The character has to be lifelike, you know. And I'm very excited about doing Carfest again this year, and little proposition for you, if you're up for it. If I get a dummy made of yourself, use it in Carfest North, and if we can auction it that night for children in need, that'd be fab.
Okay, I mean, to be honest, if you like, that dummy can host a whole weekend. I'll sit in me Winnebago and have a couple of beers, because frankly, I am
got the gears.
got the gears, because I am knackered by the end of the Carfest. My voice always goes completely.
I'll lend you my voice.
Okay, thank you. Talking of voices, I mean, you know, it's one thing to sort of speak, you know, with your teeth clenched and try not to move your lips, but it's entirely another thing to throw your voice. How do you throw your voice so it sounds like it's actually emanating from the puppet?
Throwing the voice is another technique where you kind of have to strain your vocals, and it's just like, yeah, you really have to kind of push at the back of the throat. And I did have a little lesson. A good friend of mine told me, he said, pretend you're sat, sorry if you're eating breakfast, pretend you're sat on the toilet and you're pushing, and you really find that voice at the back of your throat. But you can do this, you know, make it sound like the dummy's coming out of the trunk or inside your hands, and it's a really great technique and works fantastic. I get heckled from my dummy, Arthur Lager, in the box while I'm on stage, and a lot of people actually say, how did you do that? So it's a nice, like, a magical technique, you know, that you can use, which is a great way of using ventriloquism.
All right, just before you go, give us a bit more, come on.
Oh, tickly, tiny chicken, give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away. This is the great thing about ventriloquists on the radio. You have no idea how good I am.
I think we have a sense of how good you are. Listen, thank you so much for playing Carfest North for us. We'll see you there.
I can't wait, Steve.
Steve Hewlett, lovely guy.
I'm a big fan of Chris Evans, so this was a joy to do Radio 2. And I did go up to Carfest to do that, Carfest South, and we had a brilliant time. Not only do we get to perform, but you get to enjoy the whole weekend, so you get tickets to watch all the concerts. Fantastic, lovely Chris Evans. Also in 2016, I had a phone call while I was shopping in DFS with my wife Nina. It was Tony Denton, who was the promoter for the Osmonds tour. It was the Andy Williams Christmas Spectacular, and I was booked there and then on the phone by Tony, and he said, Jimmy wants to talk to you at home later on today. So when Jimmy woke up, I had a phone call in the house. He invited me to Branson, Missouri to perform at the Andy Williams Moon River Theatre.
To kick things off in the second half of our show, this amazing guy from England, once again, is one of the most celebrated ventriloquists of our time. He's flown all the way from England to be here with us. He was on Britain's Got Talent, and this guy really has it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome him to the stage, our friend Steve Hewlett. Come on, Steve.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, my name is Steve, and this is my debut in America. I'm very, very proud to be here at the Andy Williams Moon River Theatre. Thank you. She's a cool lady. But I've been a ventriloquist since I was 12 years old, so I've been doing this for 5 years now. And
My name is Steve. I'm from the UK, or as you may know, it's the University of Kentucky. No, I'm from England. I'm Steve.
I recorded quite a few of my shows over in Branson just on my voice recorder, and if you can't hear that opening line, I was quite proud of it actually. The opening night. I'm Steve Hewlett from the UK. As you all know, it's the University of Kentucky. Got a lovely laugh. So 2016 was possibly one of my best years yet. It was working with the Osmonds. It was working with Ron Lucas.
And BBC, sorry, time now for not one but two ventriloquists. Not often you get the chance to say that. Wow, Steve, always lovely to see you.
Thank
Friend
you,
of the
Azzy.
show, Steve Hewlett from Eastbourne. You'll remember him no doubt from Britain's Got Talent, his Arthur Lager puppet, Little Simon Cowell and Sunita.
Oh, yes.
How can we forget? Now, last time you were on, you were talking about how you first got into ventriloquism, who
Yes.
inspired you. You talked about the man sat next to you.
I did.
Ron Lucas. I cannot believe you have quite literally just stepped off a plane from the States.
I came from Los Angeles just to be on this show, Alison.
You could fall asleep mid-interview.
That will probably happen.
That's the risk we're taking.
I'll do his voice if it happens.
That works.
Yeah, they can't see my lips move on radio anyway. This is perfect.
Yeah, we can get away with this. Now, the reason why you are here is to perform... Oh, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I really can't see your lips move at all.
It's all done with mirrors.
It's very clever.
Thank you.
The reason why you're here is because the two of you are taking part in this show at the Congress Theatre in Eastbourne on Wednesday the 23rd of March. How did this come about?
Yes, well, I watched Ron Lucas when I started learning to be a ventriloquist, so 1989 to 1992, he had this huge, successful TV show.
I met him when he was 12, and I was in my 30s, and he still has the same facial hair. It's amazing.
I have grown a beard. You can't see that on radio either. But I idolised Ron for many years, and then me and my wife got married in Las Vegas. He was headlining a show out there. We went to say hi. He said, this is the closest I've had to a long-lost son turning up. Nice to meet you. He took us to dinner, and then I said, you should tour the UK. We'd love you over there. And he said, we spoke last year, didn't we? And I said, you should tour the UK. I said that again, and he said...
I had a TV series here once, back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was called, for lack of creativity, it was called The Ron Lucas Show.
Yeah, I remember it.
And it was a variety show. And as I was telling Steve in our foyer before we came on with you, I said, I've always had this amazing career. I always start at the top and work my way down. I mean, BBC and London, and here I am in Basingstoke and Eastbourne. I love that.
Fantastic.
I love that.
it's interesting because obviously, Ron, you know, you were Stephen's hero, and they do say you've got to be careful when you meet your heroes because you can be disappointed.
Sure.
Was there part of you that was a little bit worried? I mean, you know, you'd really looked up to this man. What if you'd met him and he'd been a complete and utter, not a nice person?
When you're a kid, you don't know that's going to happen, and it does happen. But I've never had to worry with Ron, and I've met him 5-6 times now. He's been a gent. He's very modest. He's a master of his craft, and I've learned by watching him, and he's been very courteous to me. And
I've been very wary about that too, because there have been people who idolize me, and then they found out the real me wasn't what they thought. So I tried really hard to disappoint him, but he
keeps coming back.
He's coming back.
Just won't get the hint, will he?
Exactly.
Let's talk a bit about your career then. Well, obviously, you mentioned the TV show.
Oh, good. I love monster stories. Go ahead.
How did all that happen?
It's a hobby that got out of hand. I don't know what it was. When I was a kid, I enjoyed ventriloquism. In my own show, I talk about my grandfather who showed me how to build a puppet out of a stocking.
Right.
And the first time I ever performed for Her Majesty the Queen, that was the routine I did. And she actually asked me. She said, they said, "This is Mr. Lucas, the gentleman who performed with the talking stocking." And she goes, "Oh yes. Do you have any more talking laundry at home?" And I thought, at that moment, I love the Queen.
Brilliant. I now have visions of her and Prince Philip there trying to recreate it at Buckingham Palace.
Taking off her socks.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I'm sure she don't wear socks.
But I toured the United States when I was in my 20s doing a promotion for a boys' clothing company called Billy the Kid, and that gave me a cowboy puppet. And then later, I changed the puppet so it looked more like my character. Got away from the Billy the Kid boys wear look. And then next thing I know, I'm on Broadway performing with Ann Miller and Mickey Rooney in a show called Sugar Babies. And that was an amazing run. Mickey was like working with the Pillsbury Doughboy on caffeine. And Ann Miller was in her 60s, and she could tap just like she could in her 20s. It was really an amazing show. It was an amazing time for me.
Fantastic.
Then John Fisher saw me and brought me to the UK, and next thing you know, I had my own television series, and all my friends and family who lived. I'd show people in the United States, the tapes, and they go, "Oh, that's a really good Liza Minnelli impersonator," and I go, "No, that's really Liza Minnelli."
Amazing.
They couldn't believe that I'd have stars like that, like Whitney Houston and Liza Minnelli on my show.
What was it like having stars like that on your show? I mean, we hear lots of stories, don't we, about big names and entourages and all that. Was that your experience?
No, actually, most of the people that we had on the show were very, very low-key. The only time I had something kind of odd happen was I got on the stage one time and Whitney was rehearsing, Whitney Houston, and she spun around before the music started. She goes, "Who are you?" I said, I'm Ron Lucas. It's my show. She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
That's brilliant.
She was so sweet to me. Gave me a big hug and everything. Liza Minnelli showed up by herself.
Really?
Yeah, she did all of her own makeup.
No way.
And they had a light on the camera, which would sort of like bounce off her makeup and bounce back into the camera. And
I insist on that every afternoon, actually. You
exactly.
Can probably tell.
So you couldn't see any wrinkles. And she did this whole Pet Shop song from the Pet Shop Boys. And then when she finished, I walked on stage to take her off stage, and the audience was applauding. And she goes, "The light wasn't on." I said, "We'll do it again." And we did the whole thing again. So she'd have the look that she wanted.
Yeah, of course. And then Vegas. I mean, that just must be phenomenal to headline in Vegas.
Well, I had an afternoon show. I actually had done a couple of night shows there and realized the competition was fierce. And the head of Harrah's came to me one day and said, "We have an afternoon slot, but most people don't want to do an afternoon show." And I said, "Let me give it a shot. Let's see what happens." And it actually took off. I worked in conjunction with Mac King, a magician who was at Harrah's, and I was at the Rio. And at the time, Harrah's just owned the two hotels. So they had a shuttle going back and forth between the shows. We had the two afternoon shows, and we were doing gangbuster business. In fact, all of my friends who worked at night were jealous because for the first time in my career, I had a day job.
Yeah, you had the evenings off.
I would go to work at noon and get off about 6, and then I could go to dinner, go see a movie, go see a show. It was
you had it made.
It was sweet, and I did that for 9 years. I'm still, I think, the longest-running continuous ventriloquist show in the history of Las Vegas. But Terry Fader's coming up close. He's like 6 years now.
Brilliant. Would that be your ultimate dream, Vegas, Steve? Or?
I'd like to try something different, I think. Bognor Regis, I don't know. Have they got theatres there? It'd be great to work Vegas. I like to do something in New York. Just anywhere in America. I've heard Branson, Missouri is a great venue.
I have some contacts. You could be one of the finest ventriloquists in Zimbabwe.
There you go.
I can set that up.
Here I come.
So which characters are we going to see then at the show coming to the Congress?
Well, Steve twisted my arm. At least he did it over the phone, over the internet. So you're going to see all of them. I don't even perform them all anymore. But I have Scorch, the teenage dragon. He breathes fire. You want to see how hard it was to get him over here?
Yeah, how does that work for customs?
The TSA, Transportation Safety Agency in the United States, I had to pull him aside and show them what was inside the trunk and everything because he tests positive for gunpowder.
Oh my God.
That's what is loaded in his nostrils, which makes the two little bursts of flames.
They must think you are something else. Can we see what's inside your case, sir?
In the past, though, they would check them without me being present, and then they couldn't get the dragon back into the case. So they'd try to slam the lid, and they'd break him. So I started calling the TSA puppet molesters.
Brilliant. And which characters of yours are we going to see in the show, Steve?
I use smaller ones. It's a lot easier to get through the airports, but I got a little Chi-Chi, Pongo the skunk. He's quite large. He's got a big tail. And I'm not sure if Arthur Lager's going to make an appearance in this one, but I've got a few new ideas I'm doing on this show.
And are you going to be on stage together at the same time?
We're talking about that right now.
We were talking about that in the car.
We have about 5 days, 6 days to kind of work that out.
Yeah, we do.
We both have a lot of really strong material. We're trying to figure out how to integrate our two shows together.
Sure.
And it would be a first. I think, you never see two ventriloquists working together.
No.
And it would be a lot of fun.
I think so.
They do joke about ventriloquists on the radio, but you're the first to have two ventriloquists on the radio.
I know. This is a world
Actually,
exclusive.
I'm not really
Double talk.
The show is called Double Talk, starring Ron Lucas and Steve Hewlett, and it's coming to the Congress Theatre in Eastbourne on Wednesday the 23rd of March. You can get your tickets now. Call the box office 01323 412 000, or you can book online Eastbourne Theatres, all one word, .co.uk. What's the plan now? I imagine for you it involves sleep.
Oh, you mean for the rest of the day?
Yeah.
I was just reminiscing on my career. I was just thinking I've done shows for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the Royal House of Dubai, the Queen of the Netherlands, and several queens in San Francisco. So it's been a very exciting career.
Not forgetting your presidents as well.
Well, quite a few presidents. I have performed for every waking president in office since I was 20, except this last one. And I don't know why. I mean, I like my coffee black like my presidents. What's wrong with that joke?
Yeah, you probably need to give the White House a call and see if you can arrange that.
I have also performed for a few out of office, like Jimmy Carter. I've done his Habitat for Humanity charity. And
when you perform in front of such high-profile people, such high-profile gigs, I mean, do you get to a point then where you're just not nervous anymore? You've kind of done it.
No. It's always nerve-wracking. I think the worst thing happened when I performed for the Clintons, when Bill was president, not his wife. The Secret Service was really tight, and they appeared in front of me before I'm about to go on, and kind of like lightly threatened, you can't mess with the president or the Secret Service. So of course I had to.
Oh gosh, you took a risk.
I took a risk. I went out on stage, and first of all, Secret Service is not a secret. You can find them. I mean, they're dressed in black, wearing sunglasses at night indoors, and they're all talking into the little wrist radios, like their Apple Watches, and I swung my voice going, "Oh no, what do you mean he wants another intern?"
Fantastic. Ron Lucas and Steve Hewlett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alison.
And it was also working with Kenny G at the Royal Albert Hall. This is Kenny G rehearsing one of my favourite tunes. There's so much more to talk about, like my theatre tours across the UK in 2014, 2016 and 2020, which then went to 2023. 2016 also saw me as a special guest to present the terms and conditions on Strictly Come Dancing on BBC. I don't have any footage of that anywhere. I also flew up to Glasgow to film an episode of Eggheads with my really good friends
Drew Cameron, Mickey Zaney, Neil Warner, Catherine Marks, and my brother David. He was on standby, but sadly we didn't need him. But he should have took my place, to be honest, because I was rubbish on it. I came fourth.
Ice and Teeth.
As this podcast comes to an end, this is episode 1, reimagined. I'm going to play a couple of little speeches from my 40th birthday party, which is 10 years ago. Next month, I turned 50. I was born in 1975, along with Anton Deck, Michael Bublé, Mark Ronson, Jamie Oliver, Alison Hammond, will.i.am, Enrique Iglesias, Kate Winslet. Anyway, 1975 saw the beginning of the Ventriloquist Kentucky Convention in America, which I and Jimmy Tamley are going to be guests at. We've been invited to perform out there. We're doing that in middle of July. I'm also doing a talk on ventriloquists. Now, if you'd like to see more of what I do, follow me on Facebook. Or you may see me hosting an awards evening or a corporate gig. I may be in a theatre doing a variety show. I may be in pantomime. I may be doing holiday parks, comedy clubs. And if you've binged, listened to all over 210 episodes of Eyes and Teeth, the podcast, thank you so much for doing that. Hopefully by the end of 2025, you will be able to buy a copy of my book, Ventriloquest. It has been a hell of a quest, taking me over 25 years to put together. I'm hoping by the time I get off this cruise ship that a publisher would accept and we can move forward. So if I'm not doing ventriloquist workshops or ventriloquist talks talking about the book on the book tour, which I'm doing before the book is even out, you can book me now for that, by the way, for your event, then maybe I'll just see you around. Thanks so much for listening. I'm going to leave you with some words now from my 40th birthday. So this is Jimmy Tamley and Roger De Courcy and myself saying a few words at my surprise 40th birthday party. Can't believe those 10 years have flown by.
I won New Faces final, beating a guy called Joe Pasquale into second place. And he's a millionaire now, and I'm a So I'm living in Basingstoke in a masonette flat. So the local newspaper gave my address out. Jimmy Tamley just won New Faces. This is where he lives, Upton Crescent in Oakridge. Drop in Basingstoke people, you know how posh that is. And this little cat, all these little boys and girls would knock on my door after school asking for my autograph. And then this third little kid comes in with little spiky black hair, 8 o'clock in the morning. When you're in show business, you go to bed at 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, lady into you. He's knocking on my door, Mr. Tamley, can I have your autograph? So I give him an autograph, you know, a hang-dog face. This came from a gig. Next morning, he's there, 8 o'clock again. Can I have your autograph, Mr. Tamley, for my sister, Karen? Next morning, can I have your autograph, Mr. Tamley, for my mum? And this went on for about a week. And he comes back and he says, I'd like to learn some ventriloquism, Mr. Tamley, could you teach me? And I wasn't in the mood that day because it was like 7:30 now. He's coming earlier and earlier. And I said, look, Ray Allen of Lord Charles' fame had a book out at the time called Got Back Here. And I said, there's the book, there's the publisher, there's the title. Get that book, read it, and if you're still interested, come back and see me when you've read it. And I expected to see him in about a month, 2 months later. 4 days later, I read the book. He said, you teach me if I read the book. He came back. And that started our friendship. And I don't know what it is about inviting a 12-year-old boy into a flat. But his parents approved. That was Basingstoke in those days. Still not bothered about that, you know, still not. Steve came in my flat and I gave him a few little lessons, not many, because you've basically got to teach yourself it. It's you know, tongue twisters and all that stuff that goes on your head. So I gave him a few little lessons, and most of the time we just come round for a hot chocolate, wasn't it? You come round for a hot chocolate, and we watch some videos, watch Roger De Courcy, Ron Lucas, Keith Harris, watch everybody, and nick bits of their act. Or don't just say that bit's good, that bit's good. So over the years, Steve went into talent contests and started winning a few of these talent contests, started doing really well. And then he met wonderful Nina, a beautiful lady who's organised all this tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And then he got onto the Great Britain's Got Talent, and this is weird for me because you're watching the whole thing going full circle. Now he's on a talent show, and I said, "What do I do this for?" I said, "I want to do it for Lola." Lola, come on. I'm Jimmy. Hello, Lola. Oh, I don't think I want to freak her out. You've seen Lola, that lovely orange dress. Lola, he said, I want to do this for Lola's future. And so he went on Britain's Got Talent. And I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I watched that final. I think Steve was the best actor in the final. I won't say anything disparaging about the three people in front of him, but I definitely think, Steve was definitely the best actor on that night. And with Simon Cowell and Sunita and Afalaga, absolutely brilliant. A young man who came knocking on my door at 12 years old, and I've seen him go, and whenever I go now on the cruise ships and people say to me, Steve was here 2 weeks ago, or they work with Steve, all the great entertainers, and they say, what a nice bloke he is. And I don't know where he's got it from. I think he's got it from his mum and dad, Sharon and Terry, and the Hewlett family are just absolutely lovely people. And I don't see enough of you because I live in Devon now, but Terry and Sharon, Steve is a credit to you. What a wonderful son. I'm really proud of him as like a surrogate son and best mate to all you lot as well, best mate to me as well. Steve Hewlett, ladies and gentlemen, I'll hand the microphone over to Steve for a few minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can't believe I'm not getting paid tonight because I've got a gig to pay for. But when I walked in this room, it was I'm still really overwhelmed because I've been trying to get around everybody just because I love every one of you. I know every one of you, and I know it was like my funeral. It was like I was watching. And these are people that are going to turn up. This is lovely. I would be happy if this was my funeral. I'd be very happy because thank you so much for being here. Every one of you, every year of my life is in this room, and people. It is emotional because you're all part of my life in some way, and it's just amazing to see you all here. And if I can do anything, just give me a call. Not all on the same day, but I will try and get back to you, and I do try and get back to people. But you do mean the world to me, and just that little girl. It's Britain's Got Talent was about little Lola. It was about just doing what you can. Because I've been in the business like 28 years. It's been a long time, but Roger De Courcy.
I won't keep it brief. There's been lots of nice things said about me, and I do appreciate that, Steve, because these boys, Steve and Jim, I've been really lucky in my life. Us ventriloquists are a weird bunch of people. Yes, we are. We are. We talk to ourselves, and that is really strange. Tonight, the preview of Enfield Haunting is weird again. Peter Potter I've seen tonight. I haven't seen Peter for 45 years since he made my first bear, and it's so good to see Peter again. So this guy here, the first time I saw Steve was funny. When Steve did a charity, the Water Rats, by the way, King Rat sends his love. Rick Wakeman sends his fondest love for happy birthday. Water Rats have an office with a place called Brinsmouth House, which is in Twickenham, and the residents there are people in the business. And Steve came down there. My mum was in, my wife's mother was there for 11 years, and my mum was in there for 3 years. And Steve very kindly came down with Pongo, I remember that, to do a show for the inmates and the residents. And that's when I first met Steve. And he did it, and made them all laugh. And I thought, good lad here. He's now a Water Rat, and we're very pleased to have him. And to these guys, to Jimmy and to Steve, who are very good at what they do. I was lucky. I was bloody awful. Very kind to say all those lovely things. What about me? And that was me. Sorry, David. He was very. I couldn't see him back there. I was voted the best ventriloquist. I was voted the best ventriloquist in Great Britain 3 years ago, which was a great accolade. Thanks. By the British Lip Readers Association. These guys are good. I just got away with it. I just got a bear. When I first started, as soon as it came, you went to his house. I went to Neville Keane. I went up to Neville, and I said, I've got a bear. Peter Paul's made me a bear. What do I do? And Neville said to me, can you do ventriloquism? I said, don't be stupid. He said, well, then you've got to become a manipulator. I said, what's that? You've got to make that bear move and work so nobody looks at you. And that's what I've done for the years, and nobody's ever, well, occasionally, but I got away with it. So on behalf of all the other vents, as the old man here, I can say, happy birthday. Many more years of doing what you do, actually to both of you, and to Tuck, all right? Enjoy the business. It's a sod sometimes, isn't it? But it's a great business to be in.
He'll make your worries fade, joy in every escapade. Punchline smooth and clever, makes you giggle forever. Eyes meet his, and you know Steve's the star of the show. Come on, laugh with Steve tonight. He's the master of delight. By the end you'll understand, you're a friend in his command.
By the way, if you'd like to help me celebrate my 50th birthday, I'm performing at the Haymarket Theatre on the 27th of April, 2 days before my 50th. It will be at 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Basingstoke. I have special guests on the show: Nina Hewlett, Kevin Dean, Joseph Hall, Graham Cole, OBE, and Triple Cream, a hilarious comedy trio. I can't tell you about my very special TV star celebrity guest, but you won't want to miss it. The afternoon's going to be full of surprises, laughter, music, dance, entertainment, value for money as well. I've kept the tickets as low as possible. So please come and join us and celebrate with Steve Hewlett. And I promise you won't hear my name anymore. But you'll have to stop following me on Facebook for that. And block me from your phone. Take care. Enjoy episode 2 of Eyes and Teeth. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Lola, Larissa and Nina Hewlett. Additional vocals by Rich T. The theme tune and jingles are produced and performed by Kevin Dean. You can listen to, download and share all of my podcasts, Eyes and Teeth, from Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and now all episodes are on YouTube to enjoy at your leisure. Take care.